on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Mike Tyson himself admitted it. The November 2024 fight against Jake Paul, hyped as a clash of generations, was a complete fabrication, a meticulously crafted illusion for the cameras. He explicitly stated it was a business deal, a controlled outcome with a predetermined result. Tyson wasn't there to fight for his legacy, he was there to collect a check, agreeing to lose on points as Netflix orchestrated its perfect storyline. This wasn't boxing, it was a performance, a betrayal of everything Iron Mike once stood for in the ring. The legend knowingly played his part in the grand deception.
When this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off to. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one.
The 6th round made it official.
The shocking truth emerged after Anthony Joshua brutalized Paul. Watching Joshua expose the younger fighter, Tyson's reaction wasn't joy, but profound vindication mixed with raw regret. He saw what could have been. Tyson, even at 58 and battling significant health issues, still possessed the lethal instincts, the devastating timing, and the terrifying power to knock Jake Paul out decisively. He knew it then, and he knows it now, haunted by the chances he let slip away to deliver a genuine reality check. The opportunity for a true legacy moment was sacrificed. Because the uncomfortable truth bites deep, Mike Tyson could have ended Jake Paul's boxing fantasy forever. He had numerous moments, clear openings where a single real punch would have decisively concluded the charade, but he held back. He didn't take those chances. After witnessing Joshua effortlessly walk through Paul like a titan swatting away a mere nuisance, Tyson's later words echoed with a stark, undeniable honesty. He confirmed what many already suspected, reigniting the painful reality of his choice, a decision that still weighs heavily on the legendary champion today. Tyson didn't mince words. He didn't dance around the uncomfortable truth or try to sugarcoat the situation. He said it plainly, with a bluntness only a man of his stature could deliver. He followed the script. He collected the check. This wasn't a competitive sporting event driven by raw athletic ambition. It was a meticulously orchestrated financial transaction. The violent clash between a legend and a pretender, once sold to millions, was exactly what Tyson later confessed it to be. A cold, calculated business deal with a prearranged conclusion. The financial arrangement was staggering, a testament to the power of celebrity and engineered narratives. Tyson would intentionally lose on points, ensuring Jake Paul's manufactured image as the young star conquering an aging icon remained intact. For his compliance, Tyson walked away roughly $20 million richer, a sum too tempting to resist for a fighter past his prime. Netflix, the broadcast giant, secured its desired storyline, cementing Paul's rise in the eyes of an impressionable audience. Legacy, for that moment, was traded for a massive paycheck. Let that sink in. Mike Tyson, a man who once personified raw menace and promised to genuinely humble Paul, chose financial security over a statement that would redefine his final legacy. He entered AT&T Stadium with the undisputed power, the sheer capability, to erase Jake Paul's carefully constructed narrative forever. Instead, he made a conscious decision to play his part, to adhere to the agreed-upon script. The lure of money won out decisively. His unparalleled legacy, for that brief, crucial moment, was forced to wait. Tyson wasn't alone in anticipating the ultimate trajectory of Paul's celebrity boxing career. Long before Anthony Joshua even entered the picture, another boxing titan, Floyd Mayweather, had issued a clear and unequivocal warning to anyone who would listen. When Jake Paul began making audacious calls for legitimate fights against professional athletes, Mayweather immediately dismissed the entire fantasy. He understood the profound difference between a spectacle and true combat, recognizing the inevitable end of Paul's illusion. Floyd Mayweather, a master tactician and unparalleled defensive wizard, didn't hold back. He openly stated that the moment Paul faced someone who could really fight, the charade would be over, decisively. He went further, unequivocally proclaiming that any elite boxer, fighters of the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, would dismantle Jake Paul without mercy, with clinical precision. This wasn't mere trash talk or casual speculation. It was a cold, hard analysis from a man who understands the intricate science of boxing at its absolute highest level. Mayweather, perhaps more than anyone alive, comprehends the vast, almost insurmountable gulf that exists between the world of celebrity boxing and the brutal, unforgiving realm of elite professional competition. He recognized that Paul's carefully curated wins against aging MMA fighters and other celebrities were built on a foundation of unequal matchups, designed for spectacle rather than legitimate sport. The moment Paul stepped into the ring with a true world-class boxer, that illusion would shatter instantly. Mayweather predicted the shattering with chilling accuracy. Then the moment of reckoning finally arrived. December 19th, 2025, Miami, the Casa Center. The entire world watched as Netflix broadcast the event globally. Anthony Joshua, a former unified world heavyweight champion, stepped into the ring not seeking a novelty payday or cheap headlines. He entered with a singular, unyielding goal to dismantle. This was more than just a fight, it was a statement, a clear message from the world of genuine boxing to the burgeoning industry of influencer-led spectacles. The lines were about to be drawn. Training diligently alongside his dedicated team, Joshua approached the challenge of Jake Paul with a meticulous patience and an unwavering intent. He wasn't rushing for a quick, sloppy finish. He was analyzing, calculating, and preparing to expose every single one of Paul's limitations. The early rounds of the fight saw Paul moving, desperately avoiding direct exchanges, and merely surviving. It was a clear demonstration of Paul's defensive strategy against a genuine threat, hoping to weather the storm rather than engage the tempest. But Joshua waited. He understood the fundamental limitations that Paul simply couldn't match in a legitimate boxing contest. He recognized that Paul's relative inexperience and lack of true heavyweight power would eventually leave him vulnerable. Joshua didn't chase, he controlled the distance, dictated the pace, and slowly, methodically, began to close the trap. Each movement, each feint was a calculated step towards the inevitable conclusion, revealing a mastery of the ring that Paul had never genuinely encountered before. The sixth round made the outcome official, devastatingly clear. Anthony Joshua unleashed a terrifying right hand, a weapon forged in countless championship battles, the very punch that had flattened champions and contenders alike throughout his illustrious career. It landed clean, with bone-crushing accuracy and undeniable force. The impact was immediate and brutal. Jake Paul, stripped of his illusion and exposed to genuine elite power, collapsed to the canvas, utterly defeated. The fantasy shattered in an instant. Paul didn't beat the count. The referee, witnessing the sheer destruction, waved off the fight without hesitation. This wasn't merely a victory, it was a dismantling, a comprehensive demolition that left no doubt about the chasm between Jake Paul's curated opponents and a legitimate world-class heavyweight. The clean knockout served as a brutal, undeniable punctuation mark on Paul's brief, albeit highly profitable, foray into serious boxing. The truth of the sport had finally spoken, echoing through the Casa Center. The aftermath saw Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, deliver a message that wasn't about gloating, but about stark reality. "I gave Jake his debut, and AJ may have given him his last fight," Hearn stated, a powerful testament to the severity of the knockout and the clear distinction between their two worlds. It was a cold, hard dose of truth, delivered without emotion, highlighting the consequences of stepping outside the realm of controlled, celebrity-driven contests into the unforgiving arena of elite boxing. Hearn went on to explain precisely what had transpired in the ring. Joshua's patience wasn't a sign of weakness, it was a hallmark of an elite fighter, strategically waiting for the opportune moment. Paul, in stark contrast, had relied on the same predictable tactics that had served him well against aging MMA fighters and other celebrities. Against a real heavyweight champion like Anthony Joshua, however, those familiar tricks meant absolutely nothing. The speed, power, and precision of a true contender rendered them utterly useless. Then came the undeniable physical evidence. Jake Paul's injuries. The aftermath wasn't just a loss. It was a brutal biological reality, a double jaw fracture, emergency surgery, 4 titanium plates inserted to stabilize the shattered bone, teeth removed. Paul himself admitted he was spitting blood, fighting through agonizing pain, his face a testament to the raw power he had truly faced. That kind of devastating damage doesn't happen by accident, nor does it occur against equal opposition. This was a different level entirely. This is what real boxing does. This is the brutal consequence when elite power meets inferior resistance, and Mike Tyson knows it. He knows with terrifying certainty that he could have inflicted that exact same fate. He knows he had that chance. Those moments where a true Iron Mike punch would have delivered a similar, if not worse, devastation. Every time he sees or hears about Paul's broken jaw, Tyson is undoubtedly reminded of the path he chose not to take, the legacy moment he intentionally walked away from. Watching Joshua expose Paul so thoroughly forced Tyson to confront a brutal, undeniable truth about his own choices. By opting for the script, the guaranteed money, and the meticulously controlled outcome against Paul, he inadvertently passed on a truly legacy-defining moment. He could have been the one, the undisputed legend, to unequivocally show the world what Jake Paul truly was, a celebrity, not a boxer. Instead, Tyson protected the business, putting profit over the profound statement he could have made. Tyson had the opportunity, the raw capability, and even specific moments where a genuine punch from him would have ended the spectacle decisively. He possessed the unparalleled experience, the devastating power, and the primal instincts that once struck fear into an entire generation of fighters. Yet, he chose not to deploy them because the entire financial arrangement, the $20 million check, depended entirely on his compliance. This isn't mere speculation, it is Mike Tyson's own stark, painful admission. The November 2024 fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was never about authentic competition. It was meticulously orchestrated execution of a prearranged deal. Anthony Joshua's dominating victory over Paul, controlling distance, pace, timing, and space, completely shattered the myth. Paul, who hadn't even faced a peak-sharp Joshua, had his claims of being a real boxer and talks of future championships evaporate. The fantasy collapsed the very moment he faced a legitimate heavyweight champion, unmasking the illusion for all to see. Jake Paul isn't a boxer. The painful reality, unequivocally proven by Joshua's brutal dismantling, is that he's an entertainer who was permitted to cosplay as one for financial gain and narrative convenience. His entire persona as a formidable fighter, meticulously built on a foundation of carefully selected, outmatched opponents, proved to be an utterly fragile illusion. The second real competition arrived in the form of Anthony Joshua. The entire facade crumbled completely, leaving behind only the stark truth of his limitations. Anthony Joshua courageously broke the script, delivering a raw, undeniable truth and making history with his dominant performance. Mike Tyson, conversely, chose to follow the script, securing his hefty payday but perhaps sacrificing something far more enduring. Legacy lasts forever. Money, however substantial, eventually fades. Now Tyson is left admitting the profound regret of not being the one to decisively knock Jake Paul out. This isn't the noble sport of boxing, it's entertainment cynically pretending to be sport, and Tyson's honesty exposes it all.